Okay, Rangi, give us a couple of the stories from down that way in your time.
Yeah, well, there were only stories back then, but I didn't realise how important they were as I grew up. Because I can remember seeing these accidents, and this one in particular, where one of the guys was working on doing the train alongside the thing, but the bank sort of came back down, that papa stuff,
Yeah, whereabouts?
It was just past around that corner, and there was a bit of a water thing coming over and under the road, and just before you go up the hill.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, and Badleys were up the top, and then the school next to them. And we were going to school, and I saw what had happened, and I saw it fall on this guy, and but then I found out later on in life that he lost his leg, that guy, and he used to, but I saw him around after that, but one leg missing, and a lot of those things stuck in my mind because I went and got a lot of jobs. I did a course on the Māori wardens and accidents on the parapara when people got hurt, and I think we shifted to Wairau, and I went to Wellington.
How long were you down on the paraparas?
Probably 2 years.
So you ended up going down from there to Wellington?
Went to Wairau.
Oh, Wairau.
Yeah.
Well, you went from one lonely place to another lonely place.
Yeah, they were closing the camp down, and we got a choice to go to another area in Bulls. It was Bulls that was given to us, and a lot of fellas told us to go to Bulls. But it was two of us, the only single fellas left there, and not the only single fellas working there, but living in the single men's quarters, and me Kurarauhine, and so we looked at Bulls, we looked at thing, and we picked Bulls because they had a cookhouse there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Where, Wairau or Bulls?
Wairau, yeah.
Yeah. You ended up going to Wairau.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I stayed there for a couple of years and wasn't improving in my skills type of thing because you just mowed lawns all the time.
Yeah.
And so my brother-in-law said, come down to Wellington. So I went and stayed with him and get a job down there and get twice as much.
Who was that? Who was your brother-in-law?
He had a bit of something went wrong. We went to hospital, probably to go, and so we thought we'll go down and see him, and he was from the East Coast, this guy, Manahira. No. Yeah, but we went to see him this weekend gone, but he's the one that said to me, so I got a job with him first. He had a job delivering milk around Wellington. Oh, yeah. They had their areas.
Was he a Hamilton? No?
No.
So you left the Paraparas, the Ministry of Works, because there were no women hanging around down there, for you. So you ended up.
Oh no, there was a few. There's a few that used to come down.
What was that?
We had a rugby team, so they had big celebrations after the game. Yeah.
Down the Parapara.
Yeah.
Did you play on the rugby field across the river?
We was at the river, and then we went further down on the main road. Yeah, and going down the roads, but when I saw those distances today, we used to just actually walk there or run down there to the next football field, and we mostly played against the teams down the River Road. That was contracted by another guy. I think he was from one of our brothers was named after him as well. I'm just trying to think of his name, but he was managing the Ministry of Works up the River Road.
Where was their camp?
I'm not too sure, because I was only a little wee baby thing, I think. when all that was happening, and then we when we shifted to Raetihi, I sort of lost contact, but I still used to go down there and play rugby, you know. And but I'm just trying to think of his name, Oxley or something, because we had, for some strange reason, our family named us after someone else, and like Terry, the one now, well, he was Terry Rauhina. He actually was adopted to him, but when his wife died, my mother went and took him back. And same to me, I was adopted to Kuru someone anyway. And
Rangi, is that Rangi Kuru?
his sister was the one that brought me up, but she had a husband, and I've met him since too. I don't know if he's still alive now though, but he said to me, "Oh, I always wondered." But when she died, my mother went and got me back. And the guy's been to my place and talked to you. He said, "Oh, I always wondered what happened to you," but because he's pulls in at home when he knew I shifted back there.
I heard that you used to visit the farmers' wives quite a lot down the Parapara.
No, their daughters, but yeah. Yeah, I think the wives were a bit old, yeah. Yeah, but it is. But I you know, it was a good place to. I was probably lucky to be brought up there because the work we did.
Yeah.
It was so much different when I shifted to Wellington. Started doing road making and developing and all that sort of thing, sewerage and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I even noticed that I did 10 times more than the next guy did, but because we were brought up that way, I think.
To work?
It was all shovels and picks, digging solid roads, you know. And so I actually became a foreman for just about all the companies I went to work for, and Downers was one of the first ones I went in. But we did subdivisions like 300 acres, like 300 sections.
Yeah.
In it. You know, they get them now with 4, and they think they got a big job.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I was sort of put in charge of the gang, but I had a Māori fella that we worked for from up the line a bit. He was really good at drain laying and that sort of thing. And he told us, and he said, "No bosses here." So we were brought up with a method not having bosses, but you always listen to the person that knew.
To get the work done.
Yeah, and this guy knew a lot. He was an old Māori fella, but he was a good worker too, actually, because I still got him. But even when he was older.
How do you think from back in those days, coming forward to today, how did the people back there in your day cope with mental health issues? Or did they actually realise that there was mental health issues? Because
no, I don't think there was. I never knew any that had that sort of problem.
Yeah, it wasn't known as a mental health issue, eh? It was more of a yeah. So back in those days, it wasn't obvious that they had mental health issues. They were called other things.
Yeah.
Hey, so give me your take on that. Did you have?
I only knew one. We had one that we were. That was Kura. Come and Dad, watch me get killed. And he was riding his bike and trying to get a car to run over him when they come around the corner. They all dodged him, you know. Yeah, so.
He was trying to commit suicide.
But we didn't. I didn't realise that he had an issue.
So if Kura was alive, is he still alive?
No, he died. Yeah.
If he was alive now, then we'd have him in that box of
I would think so. Yeah.
Mentally unwell.
Yeah.
I can remember a lot of guys back then in the days of the 31 that had, well, I know now that they were mental health issues.
Yeah.
But back then, it wasn't recognised as that.
No.
And they dealt with things in a different way. Well, they didn't know there was anything to deal with, did they?
Yeah.
Hey, like you guys, you come back.
Oh, I'm sure of it, yeah.
Come back from work, finish work and go and sit down in the hall at the 31, drink your flagons, jump in your cars and shoot down to the U-Puck.
Well, probably the only thing I would have noticed there, but that it didn't take much. Like Rayar he came straight out of the army, and he became our foreman in our gang, and he like no trouble at all to dig a hole in the road.
With a pick and shovel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And go back to the yard and load it up, and it was rocks that big. Now you get someone to load that on the back of a truck, they wouldn't last 10 minutes, I don't think.
With a shovel.
Yeah.
True.
With a hand shovel. Boom.
Yeah.
There was no other things there back in those days to load it for you.
Yeah, I can remember Uncle Paho Matthews.
Yeah.
Driving the truck, but then
Yeah.
I don't know, I was probably 9, 10, but by that stage they had a front end loader.
Yep. Yep, I remember the front end loader, and I'll just forget his name. They used to drive that one, but they were really not on the spot, because you'd be those jobs you did that were the main ones where big jobs had wasn't a 5-minute job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those machines, like you only had one loader to do the whole rari to Wanganui, yeah. So you can imagine how long that would have took.
Do you remember Cootie's Corner?
Yep.
Yeah, down there with the shovels clearing the drains.
I mean, my father gave that name, Jack Cootie, because they owned that land down there. Go to Cootie's Corner. Yeah.
It was like a landmark.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my grandfather.
Yeah. So that, and I can remember it just at Cootie's Corner, but and I when I first heard of it, I didn't know that was the reason why. But as I grew older, they said it was Jack Cootie owned that thing. But his name was Jack Edwards too, wasn't he? They called my old man called him Jack Cootie, so I don't know.
His proper name was Marewa Itarangi Kotiora.
Because I know we used to go up turn off by the Fields track.
Yep.
And he lives up there.
Yep.
Because I don't think his wife liked my father going there, because he always had a box of beer.
Yeah, well, that's his wife was an English woman. Her name was Alice Mole.
Oh, yeah.
But she married him, so Alice Edwards. That's actually, how does it go? She was my grandmother. So Granny's brother was Marilyn George's father.
Oh, okay.
So that's how they're related to us. Yeah. He didn't like it going up there. But Koko couldn't speak a lot of English, but Granny learnt Maori.
Yeah.
She was fluent in Maori, yeah. Yeah, probably didn't like your old man going up there.
Oh, yeah, because he never went anywhere without a crate, yeah.
Yeah.